If this doesn't blow your mind, I really don't know what will. Have a look. San Francisco, lots of wires and cables. All you do is click on wires and cables and wait for it. Of course, give it a bit of time and boom, gone. And it did not use generative fill. We're going to get to that later, but for right now, have a look. This is totally usable. So here's the before, as you can see, all the wires and cables, and here is the after. Everything gone. With every generation of Photoshop, removing stuff has only become easier and easier. Earlier, we just had the clone stamp tool, then we had the healing brush tools, the spot healing brush tool, the regular healing brush tool, and then we had the content aware fill, which changed the game. And after that, we had the remove tool, generative fill. The only difficulty with all of these techniques was selecting the distracting areas. But right now, that is automated too. This feature right now is only released in Photoshop beta, and I just cannot wait to make it to the main version. Now, I've taken the risk to install the beta to show you this feature, but I highly recommend that you stay with the main version if you're working with important projects. If you want to install the beta anyway, go to apps in your Creative Cloud desktop app, go to beta at the top right here and install Photoshop beta from here. And if you're using a Captain Jack Sparrow version of Photoshop, you know where to go. Now to activate this feature, just select your lovely remove tool. If you cannot see the remove tool, click on the three dots right here. Click on edit toolbar. It must be somewhere here hidden. Bring it right here on the left hand side and click on done. And you should be able to see the remove tool. Then click on the remove tool and at the top you'll see this new find distractions. So you need to choose what you want to remove. So here I'm going to choose people. Now keep in mind that is editable. It automatically selects all the people, and I love how intelligently it did not select the main subject, which is yours truly. Next, you get to choose whether you want to use generative AI or not. In this mode section, choose on or off with generative AI, or you can leave it at auto, where Photoshop decides whether it needs generative AI or not, and then simply hit enter or return. If there is something you need to add or subtract, you can do that at this stage right here. And as you can see, beautifully automatically gone. How wonderful, isn't it? So here's the before, here's the after. Although I do recommend doing it on a separate layer to preserve your non-destructive ability. Let's up the challenge a little bit, and this time let's create a blank new layer so that it's non-destructive. And now find distractions, people. This is an empty layer. It's going to show this error. All you need to do is to check sample all layers. That's it. Let's try again, people. And it does an incredible job. What I like here is that it also tried to select the shadow, but it didn't do it completely. As I told you, if you want to edit your selection or target, you can do that. Let's modify this one. If you want to subtract something, you would hold the Alt key or the Option key and subtract it. Let go of the Alt key or the Option key to add stuff. All right, this is fine. Hit enter or return. This is just out of this world. Here's the before. Here's the after, and the great thing is, this layer only has the replaced areas. Of course, there are certain areas it didn't get right, very easy to fix. With the same remove tool, just loop around the stuff like so. Automatically fixed similarly right here, and you can take the time to make this better. Now, what if there are way more people, like a population of a small city? What happens then? Have a look at this image. Let's give Photoshop a real challenge. Now, with the same remove tool, find distractions, people, let's see what it does. It selects the entire image. I don't know if it has to do with the people or the Colosseum. Let us hit enter or return. And of course, it wouldn't do a good job. By the way, I really like this texture. Can be used in many compositing or color grading work, would really give an image a nice edge, but you know, it just messes stuff up. And again, I don't know if it has to do with the Colosseum or the number of people. I tried that again on a similar image. I clicked on people, it selected the whole thing. If you hit enter or return, it just wouldn't do anything, cannot choose the entire image. This time at least it didn't create that texture, which is fortunate and unfortunate at the same time. But if the number of people are relatively less and not too much, let us try with this monument, people. It does an incredible job, and by the way, detecting people, it does pretty darn fast. And have a look at this. It also targeted this one, which is crazy. How did it see that? Hit enter or return. I usually keep it at auto. Let Photoshop decide whether it needs generative AI or not. If you don't want to use it, you can turn it off as well. That works great too. Here's the before, here's the after. Now this area might not be so clean, but who can tell? If you look at the final result, it is just impossible to tell. Now of course you can take the time to clean that up further, but what about reflections? You have people, Photoshop automatically detects them, but what about their reflections? Now let's go to find distractions, people. And it even selected the reflections. Now in this case, I'm going to show you something. There are lots of intricate details right here, right? If I were to turn off generative fill right here, and try to fix that, hit enter or return. It removes them, but it just misses out on all of these areas and it just messes this up. As you can see, let's go back to how it was. All right. And this time click on Find Distractions, People, and you can choose to absolutely turn on generative AI like this or let Photoshop decide whether it needs it or not. I usually leave it at auto as I told you, hit enter or return. And in this case, as you can see, it does a way better job than before. So here is the before. Here's the after. It tried to get that detail back, and there are a couple of discrepancies here and there. We can easily fix that later. For example, it didn't get that right. For those areas, you can just select any selection tool, even the selection brush tool if you want to use generative fill. And one of the great things about the selection brush tool, which is new, is that you can loop around stuff, and this is an active selection too. So if you have the contextual taskbar open from right here, you would notice that generative fill is activated. So if you click on it, it will fill that area. Click on generate again, and there you go. It's beautifully fixed. So here's the before, here's the after. So the automatic detection and removal may not be the end-all solution to everything, but it does give you an incredible starting point for most of the cases, and in many cases, a perfectly fine end result. If we were to remove all of these people, it's not that we cannot. All we have to do is to create a new layer and then just paint on them. Easily gone. Similarly right here, and then these people. But it's just that it's going to take a long time. What this does is just makes it so much easier. You want to make sure sample all layers is checked, find distractions, people, automatically selected all of them. And the great part is it also selected their shadows, and it didn't select things that looked like tiny people. So hit enter or return. Now again, this gives you a great starting point to begin with. So many tiny distractions removed in one sweep makes your laborious manual job so much more easier. But what about wires and distracting cables? What happens when it gets absolutely complicated? Now it can remove that too, but there's a caveat with this. Let us create a brand new layer, and this time find distractions, pick wires and cables. Now in this case, it wouldn't let you edit the selection. Like with people, it gave you a selection and you can modify that. With this, you just cannot. And it does an incredible job. But however, on this separate layer, you have all of these areas that it replaced, which is a good thing. And it did an incredible job. I don't think we have to do much here. Before, after. Now what we like to do is start increasing the challenge for Photoshop, making it more and more difficult. In this example, have a look at this crazy thing. How would you apply Kirchhoff's law right here? Anyway, let's try to clean it up. Wires and cables, we are doing it on a brand new layer, sample all layers checked, and that seemed to be basically fast. And oh my gosh, here's the before, here's the after. It did get all of those details right. Before, after. Have a look at the windows it created. So good. So here's the before again. See these details, and here's the after. It tried to create something there, so I'm guessing it used generative fill. Similarly, let's look at some other areas. Trees are easy to create. Here's the before, here's the after. It created all of those. Before, see, all of these details, everything was gone. Here's the after. It tried to create all of those details. It does look like a storage container, but when you zoom out, it just works. So the next time you have wires in your way, no worries, we got you. It's not perfect. Here's the before, here's the after. There are certain lines and leftovers right here, but we can easily fix that. Let's select the whole thing, like so. And similarly, you can do the rest for all of these areas, but have a look, before, after. Crazy, crazy good. Now, one of the most big challenge is removing wires and cables from photos where it is so hard to see. For example, have a look at this one. It's just so hard to select each and every one of them. There are so many, and there are so many details. You have to just zoom in and try to remove those. Let's see if Photoshop can fix that in this photo. On a brand new layer, you want to make sure sample all layers is checked. Find distractions, wires and cables. That seemed to go pretty fast, and oh my gosh. It seems like it only used the remove tool and not generative AI. So here's the before, here's the after. There are certain details that it didn't get right, but if you zoom out, it is just hard to tell. Now there are some anomalies here and there. There are some aliens might be dropping in, but not a big deal. You can try fixing that with the remove tool, and have a look. It created all of those details right here as well. Similarly right here. Let's try to fix that with the remove tool. You're not using generative AI right here, and I'm speechless, to be honest. So that's all about the magical feature of finding distractions and removing them automatically in Photoshop Beta. I really hope that it comes to the main version of Photoshop. Try not to install beta software from any company, Adobe, Apple, Microsoft, any company on a production machine. That'll save you down the line. But if you want to try it, Install the beta, play with it, and then you can uninstall it if you wish to. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do check out our PiXimperfect Pro courses if you want to master Photoshop from start to finish and beyond. You'll get access to more than 100 lessons structured the right way, and I keep updating it every 2 weeks. Plus, all the lessons are created in a follow-along format, so you can download the resources and follow along with me. You can download more than 300 resources. So check it out right here at PiXimperfect.com. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.